Hey Star Wars fans, I'm Ez. This is Mike. Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Watch. We are live at the Hilton Orlando, just outside the convention center, Orange County Convention Center, and we are talking today about The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Super stoked. We're going to speculate a lot, a little, a lot, and
we
then
already
some.
talked about it a little bit.
We did. We talked about it a little bit, but we've had some time to sort of think about it, process it a little bit more, and I think we're ready to just get sort of another initial thought out there, so to speak. So,
and we noticed some things too that we didn't notice before because the last time we discussed it, we went right in. Did a podcast right after the trailer.
Yeah, we had only seen it one time, so now we've had a chance to watch it a few more times and just kind of wanted to talk about it. So
definitely.
What do we think? Luke Skywalker.
Where's supposedly going to have a big speaking role in this. Hopefully, the Jedi must end is not his only line.
Oh, I sure hope not.
Along with breathe, just breathe.
Although pretty epic lines.
Yeah,
so
they're
far.
great lines.
So. What's his? Let's just sort of talk about him for just a second, then we'll switch to the other side of the story.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see any Snoke, we didn't see a whole lot about the Resistance versus the First Order.
Yeah.
But we saw a lot about the Jedi. This movie is titled The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So I don't really know that it's gonna be a huge struggle, and it seems like the perfect time to talk about The Last Jedi when the First Order is sort of their Starkiller base has been destroyed, but then also the New Republic has been destroyed. So you've got remnants of the Resistance and the First Order kind of fighting, and almost maybe not evenly matched, but they're kind of in a weird place right now.
Yeah. No.
So it seems okay. See, if they were at full strength and it was like major battle time, I still think that's going to happen. But I mean, like, it seems like they did that, and so you could sort of shift over to this conversation about like ending the Jedi Order, which is huge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think this movie's gonna. I used to think, I still think there's gonna be a major role for Princess Leia, and I think General Leia is going to be facing off and recruiting people and things like that, like we talked in our other video.
Yeah.
But now I'm really starting to. It's The Last Jedi, guys. I mean, I keep going back to the title, and I'm just like, this makes a lot of sense now.
And tying those two together when you're talking about kind of the two factions, the Resistance and the First Order being kind of, it seems like they're at their weakest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But the First Order understands that if, especially Snoke wanting to end The Last Jedi, this is the most opportune time to strike.
Yes, opportune moment, right?
Exactly. The Resistance doesn't have the backing of the Republic. They have no one else to fall back on, so it would appear to be that they're at their weakest.
Right. Well, if you're taking a book out of, or a note out of history, and you're trying to look at what happened before, go get rid of Luke Skywalker. I mean, shift all your resources to Luke Skywalker and the Jedi. That even one Jedi could bring down the Emperor. You know what I'm saying? Shift all your resources there. Snoke's thinking, we got to get rid of that guy. It now makes a lot more sense to me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's already done it once. He already convinced Darth Vader.
Yes.
So he can do it again.
Yeah, so exactly. So I think Snoke is not underestimating Luke, and that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
About Snoke, right?
Yeah.
He's not underestimating him, so I think he's fully prepared to get after this, and he's going to seize on this. Maybe because we saw Ryan Johnson talked in the panel that we're going to see the First Order striking a lot in a lot of different ways. Quickly. Very quickly.
Yes.
So we're going to get a lot of action right out of the gate on this one, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
So where is Rey? Rey's on Octu.
On Octu. It seems like maybe a good chunk of it. I mean, we see that long distance shot of her, lightsaber battling. There's one aspect, of this training that she's going through.
Right. Going through the forms.
Right. Then you see her using, other Force techniques. She's lifting all those pebbles and rocks that we thought kind of was reminiscent of the Force Unleashed and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. The Force Unleashed, good call. And the very first scene where she's gasping for air.
Yes.
I don't know that a lot of people are talking about this. I probably mistitled our last video, and I mentioned the Force choke because we had thought about it and we talked a lot about it afterwards. So I was like, you know what? We got to talk about that during this video now.
Yep.
Because we're going to spend a significant portion on it because Rey's training, I think, is really important. Okay? Mm-hmm. The Last Jedi is training who?
The Last Jedi?
I don't get it. The Last Jedi is training Rey to be what? What is it? And some people, I mean, I've watched some other YouTube videos where they're speculating that maybe it's this, this order that was similar to the order of this. What were they called? It was something that, oh gosh, George Lucas was going to call the Force something. He was going to call it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was another order before the Jedi that kind of wielded both the dark and the light side. Gosh, it just slipped my mind there for a second. But anyways, is he training her more like that, and he's teaching her to use both the dark and the light side, or is he?
I think maybe not the. It's maybe to be more aware,
to be aware,
and to resist.
There you go.
More, because I mean, maybe someone could make an argument that, at least in the movies and the books that we see, that maybe there isn't a whole lot of training on the wrist. They don't have a dark arts professor.
Yeah.
Like we see, and it's a whole major or whatever at Hogwarts. Yeah. Wow. Get off the Harry Potter train here, Michael. You're not even remembering the names. But we don't hear a lot of talk of that. So either I don't think he's training her to use the dark arts, but to be more aware of them, and be able to deal with it.
Right. Well, we said, so back to the Force choke, I am not sure. A lot of people are saying it was just a vision. She's gasping for air.
Could be.
She's out of breath,
Absolutely
sort of like
be.
Luke was in Episode 5, and that makes a lot of sense. But my God, it actually made me think maybe, and he's telling her to just breathe, almost like he's coaching her through what it would be like.
I can almost picture it now, having her close her eyes, and this is really crazy.
Yeah.
But just slight joke.
I know that's crazy.
I know this is, these are the people are going to call us crazy.
People are going to call us crazy. I mean,
it's different.
I acknowledge, and we acknowledge that it's probably just her having a vision, and he's coaching her through the vision.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it popped on us that maybe he's taking her through, he's preparing her for things that he wasn't prepared for.
And maybe maybe if he puts her in that place and she's seeing this, or she's seeing the future, she comes out of that vision and visibly is choking. Maybe that's tapping into that deeper side of the Force, where she's actually being affected by the vision she's having. Luke seemed to be pretty scared crapless when he came out of that cave.
Right, that's true.
So maybe that's her reacting to that. True. Maybe Kylo's choking her. Maybe Snoke is who knows? But maybe that's just her response to it.
Right. Yeah, good point.
But you're right. It's probably most likely something she went through that's just kind of crazy. But to me, when it seemed like she fell down, she was almost gasping for breath and almost grabbing her neck.
Yeah, and let's talk, and just in the trailer real quick, when we're talking about, like, if it is a vision and she's seeing she says she sees the light side, flash to Leia. We see the dark side, she flashes to Kylo Ren. And then we see, she says, doesn't she say the word balance?
Yes.
Yeah, she says balance.
Yeah.
And then I think Luke says, and much more. And so I was trying to look at the dialogue and think, what does it mean? What is it telling us?
Yeah.
And much more. There's much more to it than that. And I don't know. I think Luke has learned a lot. Now, something else I saw, and I can't give credit to the person I don't know. We watched a lot of videos last night. Some YouTuber who was talking about possibly Kanan and Ezra. We needed 2 Jedi to open a temple, and maybe that's what Luke has been waiting for. I like that. I think that's cool. I think that would be pretty awesome.
That would be cool.
I'm okay with if Luke has been there and has opened it, maybe with Ben.
Wow, that'd be so sick.
Maybe he opened it with Ben Solo, and then things went downhill. Okay, and he lost his first apprentice.
Yeah.
Which has happened. It happened to Qui-Gon. It's happened to Yoda. It's happened to some of the greatest Jedi Masters of all time. And so, I don't know, but. What do you think about that?
I think it kind of would make sense maybe with what Daisy Ridley say when she was asked to kind of talk about her character, and maybe that relationship with Luke. She said, you may be surprised that, this is paraphrasing, that he's not really the hero that she expected or something along those lines.
Yep.
So maybe he is kind of, seeking her out for some not selfish purpose, but maybe not what she's intending, to go train with him or whatever and do all these things. And he's like, actually, this is what we need to do.
Well, it's almost like it's like when reality sets in. It's sort of like, okay, wow. You look back at 4, 5, and 6, and if she's hearing these legends and she's hearing about the legend of Luke Skywalker, it sounds grandiose. And maybe there wasn't a lot of the nitty-gritty details that we even saw in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. And
she is learning about who Luke Skywalker really is, and from that she's she has to now. He's teaching her. I mean, he's saying that the Jedi must end.
Yeah.
And something else has to come of that. And if she's going there to train to be a Jedi, that would really put a damper on.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? What am I gonna? You're gonna learn about the Force.
Exactly. And if we're making parallels to Episode 5 here, she could possibly sense her friends are in danger. We see Poe.
Sure.
And she's not probably too familiar with Poe, but we see that folks are in peril.
Sure.
So.
It could be Finn anyways. It could be later on in the act.
Exactly.
That, the second act or something where she sees that Poe and Finn are in danger,
exactly.
etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think one of our things before we got started here, we have no script today, no outline. We're just kind of going with this. We were going to talk about her training.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really, I think, going to be just trained differently than maybe we've ever seen a Jedi trained before.
Yeah.
I get that Luke is looking at what looks like the wills or the journals of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Somebody is.
I don't think it's the journals of somebody said that. I'm not so sure that it is, just because it looks so old and so ancient. And Luke would have had that before. Mm-hmm. Why is it so precious now that I'm guessing that's Luke caressing it with his hand and looking over the text. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that they found there, and they're highlighting that bookshelf.
Could be
in the movie. So it's cool. It's cool to see paper in Star Wars.
Yeah, that they're referencing that just antique knowledge. It's not, and I didn't see one holocron.
Yeah, no, didn't see that.
Like you said,
there may be.
Maybe, but this manuscript where that knowledge being held, it's great.
Well, it seems like awesome. It's an older, like you said, it's an older form of knowledge. It's going back to where things maybe weren't tainted, and there wasn't so much, they weren't so polarized.
Yeah.
It's
true.
So I just do not know. I mean, it looks epic. I'm still blown away by. I'm having like images of that book and him tracing it. I'm just sort of like getting chills again.
And that could be something completely different. We don't. It's a brief moment. You see some hand going over it. Maybe it's not his. Maybe it's
right. True.
Something else.
True. And I just thought of this. So to shift now from Rey's training, which I think is going to be awesome, is going to be a big part of this. It's going to be different. Looking at that teaser poster that we got. I don't know what Rian Johnson and the story group and everyone's trying to tell us there, or if they're trying to tell us anything, but Luke Skywalker is in red.
Yes.
He's in red, and so is Kylo. Mm-hmm. So is Ben Solo. Mm-hmm. So those two seem to be divided and facing off against each other, and I think he could be, I hadn't thought about this before, but when I saw that, I thought, oh God, Luke is not happy with his nephew.
No.
I used to think maybe he would feel like, man, it's my fault. I failed you, sort of like Obi-Wan says to Anakin. I look like Luke's a little pissed off.
Yeah.
And Luke might be...
He may say, we have to destroy him.
He may say that. Well, think about this. We've often speculated, Mike and I, that Luke Skywalker was not there when, and we see this almost like in a flashback in the trailer. It looks like Luke and R2 are rolling up on what was his temple, and
we may have even seen that in the trailer.
We did. I think we saw it in the trailer, and he's dropping to his knees, and you see a temple, what looks like a temple, in flames, just absolutely destroyed, being burned to the ground.
Yes.
I think he was returning home from somewhere to see that.
Yeah.
And so now I think he's pissed off.
I agree.
And I think he's just ready to say, maybe he's mad at himself a little bit, and he's also really mad at his nephew. Mm-hmm. And I just think there's going to be a massive showdown, and there's going to be some Uncle Luke getting after it.
Uncle Luke
is going to be getting after it.
So you talk about that poster and those two red images, and then you have Rey, kind of shrouded in light,
right,
and that lightsaber shooting up, going from blue fading to red.
To red, yes.
Does that signify her being that redemption figure that says, wait a minute, that's your family? So maybe if you...
She's the bridge between the two?
Exactly. You know, for the most part, who your family was. Maybe she doesn't remember who her family is, but if you knew that you had this family and now you're just seeking to destroy it...
Right.
How could you do that?
Well, that could be, if she doesn't know her family, like you're saying, she doesn't know her family, and she is so, she's been waiting for years to have a family, and then she sees that Luke and his nephew can't get along, and maybe Luke and Leia don't get along anymore. We don't know.
That's possible.
The Skywalker family is divided, and there's division and things like that. It could be that she's going. The innocence of Rey is going to help bring them together.
But then again, she saw Ben Solo kill his father. Obviously, that tore her apart. So who knows if... We don't know if Rey's on that level to where she's just like, I know he's done horrible things, but we need to look past that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it can't all fall to Rey. I think well, here's the thing. I think that, again, they're hiding things from us. Not hiding things, but we're not going to give us everything in a teaser trailer or a trailer. Teaser poster / trailer.
Yeah.
So I think, back to one of our videos that we did before we left, talking about General Leia.
Yeah.
I think she plays a bigger role, and I think it's time for her to come in there and sort of maybe talk to Luke, she can be sort of that bridge.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah, Obi-Wan. I mean, what do you mean? How so?
Well, you know that we went back and listened to the trailer again, watched the trailer again.
Yes, oh my God, that's right.
Maybe that's a nice segue into that.
As soon as Rey says that she sees the light, it flashes to General Leia, and you hear this whispering, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi." Yeah, it was kind of cool. I mean, I think it's alluding to the light side, but
could be.
Is there some communication?
Exactly. Maybe she taps into that force and actually communes with it.
Or, I mean, if you're a Force ghost and you're Obi-Wan and you're Yoda and these different guys, you're supposed to be. I mean, they can appear to whoever they want to appear to. Mm-hmm. So, I think they could do that. They could appear to General Leia.
They could too,
which would be really awesome.
It would be sick.
So, gosh, they've got us. Well, and why here's the question.
Yeah.
Why in the Jedi? Why did the Jedi have to end? What has he learned? Is it all things that everyone speculated that they were too polarized and that was just too?
Yeah, I mean,
they were taught to, as Anakin kind of said, to almost in a sense they should be encouraged to love, but yet they're forbidden to love. Is it is it a piece of that? Is it he's just sort of learning that they're not as balanced as they need to be?
It really makes me want to go tap into those Jedi Academy.
Oh, I know.
Old Legends books.
Yeah,
and just kind of be like, okay, what do you think they're going to go with? Are they going to even go into any?
And are they pulling from some of this? And are they trying to bring it into new canon and stuff? So, I don't know.
Another twister. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So much. We're going to shift now, just real quick. We're going to shift over to Finn and Poe. What do you think's happening there? We saw this. It looks like we said the First Order is going to be striking quickly. Yeah. We saw a battle scene where some speeders of some kind are going up against the walkers.
Yep.
It's like a walker assault on that red planet. It's kicking up some red dust and things.
Yep.
Where do we think Finn's at? I think
it's probably early on, I assume.
Yeah, I think they just showed us early on he is still being transported somewhere quickly. I think they were under attack, and I think General Leia had to get them out of there, and I think he's just being transported. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah,
that's the case.
That's probably early on. I think he's going to play. He's going to be a big role in this and really action-packed. Who was it? Was Ryan Johnson said that Kelly Marie Tran's character is
huge, he said.
Huge. I mean, probably one of the biggest.
He may have said his favorite.
His favorite, one of the biggest parts in this movie. So I'm shocked.
We have been lied to before, though. So
yeah, we have.
I mean,
Captain Phasma?
Phasma is the Phasma effect. We don't want to get, Phantom Menace on that. But
yeah.
She very well could be.
Yeah. She's cute as a button. She's sweet.
Yeah.
She seems like she's got good chemistry with...
but we didn't really see her in the trailer, did we? We just found out at the panel her name was Rose.
No, I just mean her, up there on the panel, just sort of talking to the rest of the cast. Yeah. She seems like really accepted and and things. Mark Hamill loves her, so I'm down, But her role is going to be huge, and we still have no clue. That's all under wraps.
She's a mechanic.
Which good for them.
Exactly.
Keep to keep it quiet.
Exactly.
Poe. Well, we know they're under attack because we can see Poe's X-wing
at the base.
Like it's destroyed.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're definitely in peril there. And where we go from there, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And if that strike is happening as quickly as we think, then I'm wondering. All that leaked sort of footage and pictures of the ceremony. They're in black and white garb. I think that's later on now.
I agree.
I used to think it was going to happen a lot sooner, but I don't think so anymore.
Yeah.
So, just hearing what Ryan Johnson said and seeing the trailer, I'm thinking Nope, stuff's going to be happening quick, fast,
Very
out the gate.
quickly.
It makes sense. I mean, paralleling 5 and having a massive battle right out the gate, and we're in it here.
Yeah.
I think get that battle in and then tell some story. I mean, tell a little story in the beginning, get a major battle in between
agree.
at the tail end of that first third of the movie / beginning of the second third, and then we're back to Kylo seeking out Luke and Rey. You know, so good Lord. Here's a question, random question for you guys. Comment away on this. Let us know what you think. What are C-3PO and R2-D2 up to?
Goodness gracious. Well, they're definitely.
Did we see any of them in this? Really? If we did, it was really quick.
I thought we saw R2 with Luke.
We saw R2
when
with Luke.
He kind of kneeled down in that kind of fiery scene. But
Correct.
That's all I remember.
And C-3PO and R2 are split up right now.
Seems like it, yeah.
But there's that. That's up. You know, they'll be reunited at some point.
I'm assuming 3PO is with General Leia.
Yeah.
Which she usually is most of the time.
And R2 will be with Rey and Luke.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's...
So we'll see them, unite at some point. So it'll be interesting to see how all that comes together.
Chewbacca, is he going to... So
does Chewbacca stay on Octu?
I don't know. Because we saw scenes in the trailer and still frames from the panel to where Rey, it's kind of raining and she's by the Falcon.
Oh, that's right.
It almost looks like she's putting out her hand to Luke to get on board almost. That was the feeling I was getting.
Yeah.
But so is Chewie just like, sitting in this hut and he's like, oh, these guys are training and this planet's crap. Like,
right.
What
is Chewie thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting. I don't know what he's been doing.
Yeah. Do you agree with everybody in that? Do you think part of that attack from the First Order is definitely going to be on the Resistance and the remnants there? But do you think there's going to be a major, small strike with Kylo Ren against Luke Skywalker? Do you think they figured out where he's at Octu?
He definitely saw...
Or think about this.
Yeah.
Here, this makes a lot of sense. It just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Is that if they strike that quickly, where we saw Poe's X-wing destroyed, maybe they've copied that map, and then they from there are able to hop over, and they're able to find where Luke, and they can't warn them. They're not able to warn them, and Luke has to sense that through the Force.
Right.
I think it would be super cool if either Rey or Luke is able to sense that through the Force. I think it'd be sick.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I'm also really hoping that General Leia starts to use some of her Force powers, and she's able to sense some things in the Force as well, too.
That'd be very cool. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
So much to think about. There's so much. It's running through our minds.
The trailer was focused mostly on her training, right? It kind of felt that way.
On her training and also Luke discovering some things. I think Mark Hamill tried to downplay the role of Luke Skywalker in this, and Kathleen Kennedy jumped in and said, "Absolutely not." I mean, the fans
that's not atypical.
We were almost, it's not atypical, and that's why we love Mark Hamill so much. But she was like, the crowd was kind of like, "Oh, really? There's not a lot of Luke in this? Wait a second, hold on." And she's like, "No. Trust me, he's integral. Yeah. It's about him. It's a story about the Last Jedi.
That's right.
It's a story about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
The whole damn thing.
Absolutely
It really is. And then he's training Rey, and then where do they go from there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, guys.
It did its job. I have seen some negative critiques of it, though.
Have you really?
I have.
I haven't got around to see. What have you heard?
It's just mostly, close friends on Facebook offering critiques.
Cow.
And I don't know. That opening scene, just the way it was shot with Rey kind of struggling, that was so sick. I love the way this film appears to have been filmed.
To have been filmed. Yeah. A lot of people, I mean, I have read that people are like, I've read it beforehand that they kind of knew going in that Rian Johnson was RJ is a little different in the way he approaches these movies. And so I think it's fine.
Yeah. And they're still in post-production right now. They have 8 months pretty much to do a bunch of post-production. There's other scenes they just couldn't show us.
Right.
So I think what they did was effective. It got us excited. There's going to be more.
Right.
This was just to build that excitement.
Exactly. I agree with you.
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. All right, guys. I think I've run out of things to say for right now on this.
It could be the exhaustion.
It could be the exhaustion. I tend to never run out of stuff. I mean, there's a lot more we could say, but I just need to look at the trailer more. I need to break it down and do some more research and think about this because boy.
Can we talk about that Kylo Ren part for just 1 second, though?
Kylo Ren, what part?
The one scene that we only saw him where his lightsaber's pointed and his face...
Without the mask.
Without the mask.
Because his mask is shattered.
His mask is shattered. We saw that.
Right.
But that face,
Right.
that's a face. I don't know who he's looking at. Either Rey, Luke, both of them.
Well,
but that man is pissed.
I think that type of anger would be reserved for Luke. I think that type of anger, I don't think it's reserved towards Rey. I think he wants to train Rey. I think he sees her as something that he wants to get. He wants to train her. He wants that. I mean, it's sort of like it's a Sith mentality in that you want the next powerful thing out there to be yours and to keep it, and I can be your teacher. But I think when he sees Luke, all hell's going to break loose. Yeah, he is mad. He's not happy to see him. That anger is reserved purely for Luke. So I do that kind of. You're right. Good point. We mentioned earlier that might be a showdown between Luke and.
I think it could be.
And I think Luke is just as. And look at the teaser poster.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's not having any of it, and neither is Luke Skywalker.
You're right.
And you know what? I would not mess with Luke Skywalker. To be quite honest with you, the Last Jedi, you've pissed him off. You burned his temple down. You're supposed to be family. You're his nephew. You know better. And I'm telling you right now, Luke Skywalker is going to have his way with. I think he's going to have his way with him.
It could.
And I don't even think it's going to be a lightsaber battle as much.
Yeah.
He's going to point that lightsaber, and literally Luke Skywalker is going to use some force powers and just knock him on his ass.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
In that scene, did you get the sense that so much? I'm just kidding. So in that scene with him and the lightsaber, did you see fire around him? Because they kind of put that scene with Luke kneeling with, I thought it was R2, which it could be the temple scene.
It could just be. I think
the way
that's a
they
flashback.
packaged it.
Yeah, I think that's a flashback. I think it's separate because I don't think at that time Kylo had that attire and costume all ready to go. I think he was just deciding to tear it down, and I don't think he had gone into being Kylo Ren yet. He was still Ben Solo.
So even if it wasn't a flashback, it kind of seems like it could have come from the same part, just the lighting and everything. I don't know, because they put it all together, and then you see Phasma and her stormtroopers kind of coming out of the flames. That was sick.
Well, now I think that
I don't know. Point. Just one big invasion of Octu with troopers. They don't want to fail.
Well, wait a second. So you're kind of talking about how Luke was kneeling and R2 was there and he saw his temple, I think a flashback, burning.
Could be.
Okay. And then, but right after that, you're saying the sequence of events, the way this went down, Captain Phasma is walking with some troopers out of that.
Like it.
So is Captain Phasma a part of recruiting Ben Solo in the whole First Order tearing down the temple? Did Ben Solo let Captain Phasma in there?
I've heard a lot of people say, just from seeing kind of the dream sequence from The Force Awakens, there's no way those guys took down all those people.
No, good point. We've said that.
Yeah.
There's no way. So how are they able to do it? That's actually great, Mike. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Ben Solo is in cahoots with the First Order to some degree, and is able to, and allows Phasma in there to help destroy that.
Could be.
Because how does one person, or even his boys, the Knights of Ren, 2 to 3 people, do that much damage to an academy?
That's what I thought too.
And how big was the academy? We don't know, but
not all
I do
younglings.
think the First Order had something to do with it. And Captain Phasma, her special unit, her strike force going in there and destroying that temple, that's a great call.
I mean,
could just be that flashback.
They both have this desire to find Luke Skywalker. At least that's what we hear in the history. You don't really see that from Phasma. She's like, oh, Luke, but you know that they are this they're kind of Snoke's, not a strike force, but that's a lot of their focus.
Right.
Is the tracking of Luke Skywalker.
Right. Yeah, right. And I want to say something that folks might critique this or might be critiquing us based on us talking a lot about flashbacks. In Star Wars, we don't have a lot of flashbacks, if any.
Yeah.
Except for some visions and things like that, premonitions and stuff, whether those are in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
So that could be something new to this movie is what we're thinking. Because I'm kind of like, how do you fill in the blanks? New Hope, Star Wars, Episode 4 didn't need to do that because that was the original. So maybe they need to do that now since there is that gap.
Absolutely.
And it's well known among the fans and the viewers.
I think so.
I don't know.
They said we were going to get a lot of answers.
Yeah.
In this movie.
They did. A lot about Rey and a lot about Luke.
Yeah.
So, good Lord. So, all right. Goodness.
Just our thoughts.
And you can see they're going to keep coming. They just keep developing as we talk more about this. Is why that's our whole intent in this show, guys, is to sit down, a couple buddies, and talk about Star Wars. And as it comes out, you guys get it raw. And sometimes we have time to think about it ahead of time. But today we just wanted to get it out there to you and get our initial thoughts and discussion.
To be honest, I can't wait to have a little bit of time when we go home and just watch others' videos, see what people are thinking. Because I've seen a couple of friends directly on Facebook and their responses. We've talked to people, cosplayers. What do you think of the new trailer? Like people in the elevator here at the Hilton, like, what do you think of the new trailer? Like, oh, it's epic. But no, like, substantive thoughts or discussions to be able to listen to
Right.
what people are thinking, because this is just all us right now.
Right. Yeah, you do need some time away from it. We need to separate ourselves a little
Yeah.
bit, seek out some other folks and see what they think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's responsible.
I'm really hoping that Collider stops by here at any moment now.
Collider has been walking through this
maybe Ken. And,
that's sort of why we filmed it here. No, I'm kidding. We want to get out of the room. We've been up in the room.
We're
cooped
hoping
up.
Christian and Kid Knapsack and John Campy and them just stop by at any moment, and maybe we can all just huddle here.
Yeah.
and talk Star Wars.
Have a little
for
Jedi
bit,
Council
but, yeah.
and just talk through things.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But it won't happen. But
We'll see.
We
We'll
just
see.
love Star Wars.
We love Star Wars. We love doing this. We love talking about it, and we really appreciate you guys watching and leaving your comments, because we're going to respond to those, and that's going to help us sort of frame some of our thoughts. So please do that if you wouldn't mind.
Definitely.
If you're excited about the trailer and you want to.
Yes.
So,
yes, absolutely. Or if you're not, let us know why.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Yeah, if you're one of those people who's critiquing it and doesn't think highly of it, then let us know.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
all right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more content. And as always, may the Force be with you.